program this Monday morning, Radio Democracy go look inside the fire incidents wey happen at Wellington, Usai, but 100 people been die and over 90 people in a different hospital now.
Members say they listen to be live on the internet on www.radiodemocracy.sl, courtesy of Osiwa and powered by Africell. And the same way so they listen to we from Radio Shalom 89.5 na Kwenaduga and Falaba districts, same way so on Radio Malen 88.5 and Radio 1J 101.3, Voice of Masoro 90.5, all from Pujaun district, Radio Kolente 90.0 na Kambia, Radio Moa 105.5 na Kailaon, Voice of Kalina na Kamakwe on 98.0, and Radio Vopad on 96.5 FM na Waterloo. The program na Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. As you get from one power headline today inside the program, we go look inside the fire incident we happen na Wellington. We say about 100 people don't die now. The program na Good Morning Salone, well, for can help we discuss the issues there. I want to welcome we studio guests them. I want to welcome the station officer Abdullah Gassama Bokari, head of fire prevention unit in the National Fire Force. Good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salone.
Good morning.
And also want to welcome Lieutenant General Richard Brahma Sise, Director General, National Disaster Management Agency. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning,
and thank you very much for inviting me this morning. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, we'll continue.
Listeners.
We'll continue for the with me inside the program Good Morning Salone. We'll come back to Una for discuss the issue we are there for.
Well, the program Good Morning Salone, they continue, and as we tell you earlier at the headline them, today at the program we look at the fire incidents will be last Friday na PMB na Wellington. Also, plenty people them be lost in life and said property them being born. Well, for sake of this, make plenty people refer to this particular incident as national concern. Also, the president, Dr. Julius Madabio, say government they help for support the victim them where they get medical treatment now at different hospital them. Well, Mange Mansare look inside the whole incident and Iguna reports.
Friday, November 5th, around 9 to 10 o'clock na net, one big accident be happen na PMB Wellington, na the eastern part na Freetown. Usai one fail tanker and truck be meet up, wey cause explosion, wey make plenty people them been born, some people then die, property themselves been spoil. For sake this accident will be happen, wey kill plenty people them, make plenty people them consider am for be national concern, wey make government through the president, the vice president, opposition party leader them, and other people them been go work at the place as way to the victim and family members them. As this explosion been happen by 9 to 10 o'clock na net, plenty people been the wonder as wetin cause the accident wey kill over 95 people them, but 90 people them dey na hospital. Radio Democracy go waka na Wellington outside this incident happen and talk to some people them wey been dey the time where this incident been dey happen.
My name Adams Barry, Ade Oluwafuna. So this trip now we get iron in the stone, so immediately come out by Waterloo so parts, but he be in a speed lane. So he just come, that man they don't curve now. He try for reverse can be back for let curve. This man they on speed now, like I hit him. So after we hit him, the tanker now all by under parts the fuel boss. Go to this way, we say hit him. So after he don't boss now, then the bike man they first way it snap now, the first people they will go na the tanker or go take the fuel. But the tanker driver, actually, he do well yesterday, but people are not listening now. Because I think he get experience for them kind of thing. After that thing happen, now he calm down, now he run. When they run, they tell people, say, let nobody no go near there, let everybody avoid that place there. But people are not listening now.
I'm Mohamed Lamin Mansare, normally called Melomans. I don't buy insurance. I live with my family. The place born to zero to the accident we happen up in a junction where the Sansa Mutka bang Mutka win a tanker. So where the accident happen, people don't go for belly fuel. Over 30 minutes, no spark not be take place. So but people go closer while other Mutka they try for pass. With that period of time, nobody expects say this fire will spark, you know. By then, we just see a big blaze of fire will spark like a bomb. Inside 2 to 3 seconds, the side that already want to be fail, where they go Billy fail. The fact is all that sudden day, so now all that make we get affected. We don't get time for sleep, as you see, all steam burn. Nothing, absolutely, you know, gets. Past 1, 2, 3, they call close for me now, by the way.
After this incident been happen at net, the vice president been going at different hospital them. Usai them in cargo them people there for treatment. Usai the vice president, Dr. Mohamed Jules Jallo, been talk about government in commitment.
At hospital yesterday night, we take a decision to create additional bed space in one of the ward there. So we get 2 categories there. The one that was severely wound, and then at the ICU, and the one that way they wound not too life-threatening, and then at the outpatient and the new ward. 34 hospital as of yesterday night, where there have been 21 people in the Mingeri.
The failed explosion will be happen at Wellington. They within the Freetown City Council and control will make the deputy mayor na the Freetown City Council, Usman Tolo Kuroma, explain the work where council don't they do from where this incident happened.
Disaster, we get them by level. When something happen, we get to level 1, level 2, level 3. City Council, we level 1 now we can able to arrange where things within level 1. Yes, we respond in time for CCA, we will fix them up, play no escalate. But if you over escalate from that level 1 to level 2, we depend to district. This is going to try to able, but this particular one on a national, you don't overwhelm. And because you don't overwhelm now, you don't bear national issue. Now you see this vice president then you see ministers that they come. That tells you say a national issue now for make sure say they able help for elevate this thing because it's fall within the jurisdiction. And I total concern as a council for make sure say then thing not never happen again within the area. We don't like that at all.
This accident, na failed tanker been cause will make the acting president for the Sierra Leone Petroleum Dealers and Transport Union, Alhaji Makazuba, tell us to the people them will suffer from this explosion and say this na the biggest disaster where don't ever happen where petroleum products don't cause na the country.
I advise the way when I did at the ground. If we not say anybody keep petrol on side, we not try make that person they pull out, make other disaster not happen. And this I they talk to the entire nation now for say this is a clear indication for like everybody knows say petrol business, any say station there, not to place of human habitants. Now place for let just somebody come and buy in fuel and go away. This happened at Shell, you know, but for actually now we get a big fuel disaster. This is not the first time where we get on what involve a lot of lives at the highest. So
Usman Jallo, now the Secretary General for the Sierra Leone Petroleum Dealers and Transport Union, call on government for control fuel products where they go in different parts of the country.
Get a speedy recovery in terms of all of this. Also look at the way forward in handling petroleum products, the traffic congestion. These are all key issues that need to be addressed going forward. Because a lot of commuters were trapped just because of the congestion here at this PNB environment. And much more the sensitization with regards to petroleum product for which
the time where this incident be happen, the president, Brigadier Julius Madabio, not been there in the country, where make a cutting trip short for Canada the country. We say been go work at a different hospital when a Connaught hospital, mortuary, 34 hospital. So it tell us to the people where they admit that they hospital day and say quite a part of the people who they wound, therefore also provide psychosocial support in the area outside this thing happen.
Besides those who are injured, we have to think about the community itself, psychosocial support to those. And of course, at a much later time, we have to think about what the circumstances that led to this and how we can prevent those in future. As a society, we have to learn lessons from this. But for now, I think the most important thing is caring for those who are injured, giving dignified burial to the many, about 100 that have died. That is another thing. We will get back to the lessons in the future.
President Julius Madabio continues to say, the well body will command them. Don't work stronger one from where this thing happened.
The medical team has been doing a great job. They are giving the best they can under the circumstances, and we have a few more casualties, but they are doing the best they can to give support to the most wounded in this particular situation, those with a high degree of burn. So I'm impressed.
President Madabiu end up encourage the well-body will command them for work Tranga one as a national service than they do for the country, with support from Alex Lawrence Kuma, Wani Gauja, Musa Kamara. For Radio Democracy, Mange Mansari, the report.
All right, the program Good Morning Salone, they continue, and from that report, before we come to the studio guest them, on behalf of management and staff na Radio Democracy, we want to say sorry to all the one them we get family members them, party them and loved ones them. We've been lost their life last Friday. Now the incident will be happen at PMD in Wellington. And also we dey hope and pray, say, God go recover the one them within our hospital right now. They respond to treatment. We hope, say, then go able for fight this toughest battle we them find themselves in right now. Well, we want to say Oshto now once more. The program Good Morning Salone, they continue. And as we told you earlier in the program, today we can look at that particular fire incident that will be happen last week in Wellington. For we can discuss issues we get to do with disaster risk and management, how we for land for managing kind of situation here, in case the country happen for finding safe in then kind of danger here again. Well, we can look at the issues and the way forward. I want to welcome once more we studio guests them at the program this Monday morning. I'll start with Lieutenant General retired Brema Sise, we are the Director General of the National Disaster Management. Good morning once more. Welcome to the program Good Morning Salone.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Well, we also got a representative from the Fire Force. We go for Kamtura later when Abdullahi Gassama Bokari, and at the head of fire prevention na Fire Force. We come to later na the program, but we start the significant way you talk say you want to do with scientific analysis. Na that angle you want with scientific for let you say when I develop assessment tool them we go there for risk identification analysis, hazard mapping, vulnerability and capacity assessment, and stuff. When I go for they do coordination between and among institutions them where they handle disaster business na the country. And we all see what's happen on Friday. We've been get you the last time for cancel we how you want for handle this you scientific way where you say you want for bring scientific approach where you want for bring come into disaster management. You be don't tell we done the after your appointment we been Canada studio. But today we want to look at the issue we happen at Wellington. Let me just start for now from the National Disaster Management Agency. How una been receive the kind of information, that sad information they for say such disaster happen na that kind area in Salone. How na been received that information there?
It was saddening actually, not to be good news for we that next day. Where the message come, I get a call around between 9 and 9:30, say fire there now Wellington by the PMB area. I straight away alert all me staff, me directors them, we get various responsibilities that we for go immediately na the scene and let we see how we can mobilize support for let we put out the fire first, because that not been the immediate thing for do. So the director for risk reduction and preparedness make series of calls immediately, call fire force, call the ports authority because then self get some fire element they call them. Luckily, the response been very, very good from both the National Fire Force and the Port Authority Fire Service. Then come at the scene and immediately then go into action for try for put the fire out. Honestly, not to be in small fire at all. They struggle a lot, but we thank God, then be able to suppress the fire and reduce the effects. So right there, we make sure see we inform the National Emergency Management Service for let them bring ambulances na the site. Ambulances then come promptly because the first thing we would do was for try for evacuate the one that will be injured, the one that will get bad burns. So we evacuate the one then they to various hospitals in Freetown, Connaught Hospital, 34 Military Hospital, the Emergency Hospital, and then the community hospital where they near there, they carry some people and go to the community hospital where they near there. So that have been the first thing will happen. After that, the fire service and the Port Authority fire service don't put the fire under some reasonable control. We then now try for pick up the casualties where they don't suffer fatality due to that fire. Right. And right there on that spot, we able to get 84 people, 84 people we badly burnt beyond recognition, where we able to evacuate to the Connaught Hospital mortuary. And that day, we tell God thank you for the support we receive from the military, because I called the Joint Force Commander immediately, sent trucks and vehicles and some men. The SLP, then have been there on site for help Then the hospital people and Connaught Hospital people have been there, medical people them. So we will evacuate all the 84 people to the hospital morgue.
You don't make mention of the coordination will be happen as soon as you receive the call and the response where una been do after the coordination don't happen, but timeliness again in then kind incidents and one way very important. How soon una be able to get ambulances, for example, for day at the scene? Because according to videos them where we see where the thing be happen, we even see people where been get burns them, they take bike for fend and way for go. How soon una been reaching at the scene?
Well, I believe say the ambulances reach between 30 minutes to 1 hour when the incident happened. Most of the times, now the information, the timely passage of the information is very key. If the information can't be quick, we straight away inform all we partners, because we get pillar system. The pillar system, you get people that were responsible for various aspects. But we know say the ambulance service they with names. So we inform them immediately where we get the information. And when you think of the traffic we don't develop from, I can say from Upgon area now, say you can at that place, they've been delayed the ambulances. But they make efforts, to be very honest, they make some efforts for Candy on time. At that initial stage, yes, some people have been see way, some people don't rose, but you know, they for take them because panic been there in everybody, you know, at that initial stage. But then try for Candy when they were informed.
In disaster response, emergency and threat response management key. What una don't get as experts where government creates for prevent disaster, say at the same duration where that tank be done the whose fear?
Well, initially, this thing happened. The accident, as we don't hear it from Mangi, now the report we give, we're very, very correct. The time where the accident happened, where this truck we've been loaded with granite stone can't hit this tanker. 30 minutes to 45 minutes after that, there was no casualty, no problem. But people, you know, them bike riders where they pass us by, the people in the immediate community and they can begin cut away this fuel, you know. So at that initial stage, there was not much of a report because people in the sea say they can benefit from cutting away this fuel. But from the time where the reports come, honestly, we response time be effective. So, I agree with you. If I were to make government create the national ambulance service, now because of them can't here, for respond quickly to emergencies.
Now this 30 minutes, this ambulance the whose fuel, somebody go say the casualty for don't be way, but the number at or the rate at which if don't be reduced. Considering that this is a place where we expect say traffic police and traffic officers, then they at that moment within that 30-45 minutes, somebody go like for us the level of coordination, because military barracks always also they around the under for go and prevent and demarcate this place as sideway danger design.
Well, yes, I'm not saying that a main junction where they're very close to that place, and most times the police they and not far from that we get a QRF point where they for in case of anything happen at the east for make the military respond quickly on time. But to be honest with you, I'm not able to talk. But if police been there at that very time for let them do something for probably stop what thing been happen.
Why you not able to comment on that? We say when they do coordination, especially with incidents like that they happen. You self aware say, for example, police station not they too far from that area they. So how you not able to talk on that?
Police
not being coordinate with them.
We inform everybody as soon as we get the information. As tell you, say I called the Commander Joint Force for assist we with motorcar them for move them body, then they will be badly burnt. The police themselves been there around, but that's ended. The incident don't happen now. The fire don't catch. So I'm not able to tell you if at the time where the fuel been the ooze out of that tanker, if police been there on that spot. No, I don't get that magic there for tell you.
So
to be honest,
in terms of assessment, because before the explosion really happened, so we information at that, but 40 to 45 minutes, the driver be don't tell people and say for stop for take the fuel and move away. Una not be don't get that information the same way the fuel be don't begin leak already.
No, we not get information the time with the fuel
but
leak. We get information. Yeah, we get information the time with the fire happen. That was when we were called. You know, now that time we get called. But you know, just as His Excellency talk, you know, we get to be careful as citizens and let we listen to instructions, especially where they come from people away, now then business for giving instruction and they. Indeed, eyewitnesses say the driver of the tanker indeed tell people and say, this is dangerous, we not come out today. But you know, this small lawlessness where they pan people in. You know, especially the bike riders, because they go converge in some big number. Then they left them bike them across, then Waka come, they can't begin to take, they see OLC videos to the effect.
Somebody go say now eye opener to the disaster fate for also ensure say inclusive and especially on the roads and traffic police and also people working on traffic for able spot emergency issues and able for prevent them. Going further, waiting at the plans of integrations into una fight, especially other body them we responsible for disaster prevention.
And they tell you we get a pillar system we involve almost every organization within this country, where they are part of we pillar system. The security sector, it's part of it. The police, the military, the fire service. In fact, they're very, very key to disaster prevention and disaster response. You know, the correctional service. We are all parts of it. One thing we for know is timely passage of information, also very, very key. Because we not station disaster people them. Therefore, say you na disaster person for can station at this place at any one time.
Partnership.
But we get
example,
partners.
The police not too far from yonder, so people still wonder why at that time when the fuel begin leak, they're not able for dispatch people and barricade the place because you know say fuel when it begin for spill, it go for lead to explosion if they're not able to handle the situation. So why till at that time they're not able for barricade that area there when the fuel be the leak?
It
depends on the time where maybe them pass that particular information to the police. I don't tell when I say I'm not going able to vouch for the police say then get the information on time. But I believe say if the police been get that information on time, then before don't go under and make sure say then prevent people them for converging at that place. First of all, now 10-way traffic in jam na them particular area then they. And most of the people that we caught up na this disaster, not naturally means say na people away now indigens of that particular community. Some they go through for go Waterloo, you know, after work, don't come, fend, what they leave, they pass, they go, you see. And the checkpoint, it is something about 100 or so, now that main junction, Dave, 100 meters or so away from that point. So I believe, say, and the kind of crowd and lawlessness where we see now the video, then where they make their rounds, you know, who don't contribute probably to something. If police go this safe, then them go find it difficult for able to pull people and the lawlessness, youthful exuberance on the part of we young people. Now make most of the people that were affected are very, very young people and this thing. Mostly bike riders.
So then be they at fault?
Well, then get some responsibility. Because you for no say something like petrol and flammable something. No go near them. No go near them. But we go make sure see we increase the public education. Let we educate people them. Waiting at the do's and don'ts, waiting at the thing that way they create danger. Thing that fuel oozing from a vehicle or a tanker. You for naturally know say this is not a normal situation. Then can't as you see them, try for reports.
Okay.
Try for reports. Instead of you go there say you go take the fuel.
Don't look at the response from the National Disaster Management Agency. How we don't sound like and how we not work on it now. Today na the third day or fourth day.
Yeah, we don't go immediately the next day. we've been established the incident command center right now the sports day, one car wash facility today. We got that incident command center day, now the center where they coordinate all the activities around that particular disaster. You know, we appoint an incident command manager, you know, then we ensure so we mobilize the swift clearing of the incident sites because the team, we don't create some blockage. Traffic not flow in that particular area there because the motorcar then really block the road, especially the two accident motorcar them. I'll tell you, say, SLRA, the SLP, and other partners being come on site, even the Inspector General of Police and the Deputy, we all been there. In fact, from that night day, we some of we go to that place there, we know 2 days was sleepless, we get sleepless night, but we make sure, say, the police and with the support of SLRA, also the SLRA, we make sure so we clear and allow traffic for flow, you know. So we did very well. We also hold a coordination meeting yesterday where all the partners then come around. We main partners will get both local and international partners for now we can see how we can strategize now because some of the key issues we will try to address now. Now, first of all, for do quick burial of them when they will die because the situation they're too good right now at the mortuary.
So most times now, yeah, we can see institutions they're always active after the incidents don't happen. Now, waiting some of the institutions, for example, the disaster management agency we represent, waiting on the miss, we make always now where disaster don't happen. Salone institutions are able to respond for prevent the disaster. A heart for it happen. How effective on a communication pillar day? Because from what you don't explain, it seems there was a lack of communication. The same way the fuel begin leak. How effective on our communication pillar?
We communication pillar very effective. I think so. We don't come at this studio on several locations. We don't do at the other televisions and radios across the country. We talk to people there. We do community engagement, especially for areas and we're prone to disasters, where they at risk, engage, we get volunteers across we risk-prone
so
areas.
So why not able for work in that area they do community engagement?
This particular one accident, you know they determine who's accident they happen.
Begin with leakage and that's how they say. So if on a pillar of communication, like how you say they engage community people.
Yes.
Then for don't call on the same way the leakage they happen. For say, oh, we see fuel tanker there, it a leak.
Unfortunately, we not get that call. We only get the call when the fire don't happen. We not get the call where the leakage in the be. But that don't mean say we not get volunteers around. We get volunteers now. All them bay areas then because we look at the areas and they as a highly prone areas to risk and vulnerabilities. For let them give information. Recently, AFICEL helped with over 150 phones where we distribute across to them people here. We call line, we toll free line, when 1199, where people can call in case of emergencies like this. Now, through some of them here, so we get some of them call here, so. But we only get the call where the fire happened. Why is the fuel in the leak? I should say too much attention, not being there because even the community people, they self been the try forget part of this booty.
The program they listen to na Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We still get with studio guest them. Lieutenant General retired Brahma Sise, Director General National Disaster Management Agency. They talk about the level of response at the moment.
All right, the program they continue, and as I stated earlier, I go for left wing at the studio very soon. But before you go, let me just make you respond to a few questions them and concerns them where we be done to get from the public. But this particular disaster will happen on Friday. What are some of the lessons them where on I don't learn currently in terms of not only disaster assessments and communities they must want to expect disaster because you make mention say this nothing will happen where nobody know the plan say it get for happen but as an institution in as much as an accident una get for be effective to way for able for respond to then kind thing then they where it not go lead to if self property get for loss but one person self die in any accident na concern because na alive waiting on a land as lesson. And then kind of response here?
Well, a lot of lessons, the whole country for learn lesson from this. Nobody know, I believe say after this kind of incident, nobody know go see tanker. I like it for themselves. We say Osno day, you go near day. because you go begin reflect, say, hey, this thing we don't happen before. You know, finally, we go and let something like this happen again. But to be very honest with you, by the time where we get the information and the time where we report and the time where we coordinate now for make sure, say, the fire service available and we'll get people and for try for put this fire out, I think the response time was not too bad at all from the time where we get the information.
A listener on our Facebook page, they say there is a police station less than 5 minutes away at SL Brewery Gate and also another police station at Mambore Junction, Calbaton. If they responded immediately after the accident and condole of the place, this would have been prevented. This is not from Karim Ban on Facebook.
Yeah, that is a fair comment. I can say a fair comment. You understand? But I think say you go fine, we get the police so that then say we will explain probably waiting them do that particular night day before we can at the scene. You know, I agree. Say the proximity of the police establishment to that place there is not too far. But let we allow the police them for come and talk and explain waiting then self do by the time we that when
so
that in the
why we ask you now we not get the police now because part pound are work now for coordinates.
Indeed, we
In
coordinate.
terms of coordination, una get police FD parts of.
They are part of it. They are part of it. Yes. But as I tell you, the time where we get the information, the fire don't happen, and that time when the fire happen, we make sure say we coordinate the response. We call all we partners, and indeed we all converge there because by the time when Mr. Selfish day, police presence been there, even the IG been there. If the IG been come, it means we there. So we all been there around.
As we continue this kind of discussion, from the reports we Mange put together, somebody they make instance of fuel station thing way for this highway, not to community to side people and because if we just pump your fuel and move out. We don't see countries like Nigeria when the explosion they can happen, how it can be dangerous. And now Salone, if you look at so many communities, sometimes they get over 3 or 4 fuel stations then. Waiting, for example, the agency they do for ensure say fuel station then at the country. Let we learn from this. The northern communities who side people they or they not they pass with fuel now side them way populated like that part outside this incident happen.
Then one and they all go be part of the lessons learned because after any major incident like this, we must come together and learn from what happened and see which measures them we can put in place for reduce the effect of them kind also in the future. And what you mentioned, so is very, very key. So these are issues that we will get for discuss and take them forward. I believe say the nation will know what can come out of them discussions. And
so you not be ever done the part of a discussion for say for example, when I think say fuel na thing where people get for now for manage them and handle them na side them with people and kindi.
Of course, that thinking there, I think say it always there. You know say fuel na flammable something. So there must be certain safety considerations where for the on Usai fuel for be located or Usai not for be located. As I say, we will continue with engagements then on this. Let we see how we go do and find. So in case we get fuel disasters like then this, the effect no go be hazardous as way it happens. So
as you prepare for left in the studio, earlier I talk about burial of the body them already do not get. When this burial will be and how the identification process don't sound like.
It will be very likely say that burial they go happen today because with the seek the permission for let we do that. With the identification, then 84 people and we badly burnt, as I say, it's very difficult for identify them. But what the medical people they don't take a swab or samples of them for DNA samples from them. Where then go keep, they identify. Even if we get for go bury them now, we they bury them with that DNA identification clearly visible. So if somebody, because we don't send messages around all radio stations and television stations and the social media, if you don't say you person, you not been seeing from that Friday up to now, can report various reporting centers and day, or you go to the mortuaries or the hospitals. So that way you report, if later, then take your DNA sample, where probably the right funding go down there, or the equipments and done there for do them kind sample match then there, and they will identify, say, oh, this DNA match with this particular sample will be take, then you will able to go see who side them bury your loved one or you person will die. So then are some of the things that now they do for engage the communities, for do assessment and try for establish linkages between them people also where this thing affect and then relations, then loved ones across. Now it's tedious tax, but with the Minister of Social Welfare, they open the desk and then in fact now then they lead in this aspect for how we will do their identification.
How much body una the buried today?
As I tell you, we get 99 currently. Then one, I don't, why they can't add and tell me say one die in a Choitram during the night. So it's like we get 100 bodies them for deal with.
So sadly, like I've been saying earlier, na response can happen after incidents don't happen na Salone. So moving forward now, you're about to left in the studio. What's new approach now they bring come in terms of responding or preventing disaster from happening?
In fact, we key strategy now mitigation and prevention.
That now the key on the spot. How we plan for tackle?
Well, as I say, to be very honest with you, you can prepare very well, you know, but it depends on the side where something happen and the time where that thing they happen and the time where that information they flow to the people away for take the appropriate action. We go always make sure, see, let we put modalities in place, let we put instruments in place for react to some of them TSO. But I tell you something, that ambulance service where them we don't create, we've been there in this country, it helps so much for reduce the suffering of the people, especially the one that will be affected, let them come quick and get medical attention. The fire service also been very, very useful for let them come on time from the time where we inform them to the time where they come on site. Okay. The response time was good. So mitigation, now the key strategy we'll get for adopt. We'll get for sensitize people, we'll get for educate people, so that people then go pay attention to the environment. Okay. You get for know what the changes where they happen in the environment. Inform people them so that we go come and see how we will talk about them and mitigate their activities and they. Okay. That notwithstanding, it's not impossible for the accidents happen. But where accidents happen, we all can put our hand together and make sure we try to reduce the suffering of the people. Okay,
in name na Lieutenant General retired Brahma Sise, Director General, National Disaster Management Agency. Plenty thank you for we join we inside the program Good Morning Salone for can talk about the fire incident.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we say sorry to all the one where they suffer through this disaster.
Okay. The program na Good Morning Salone we come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Inside the program, we continue for look at more issues. Now we go now the World Health Organization. We say the World Health Organization country rep Dr. Stephen Vilabom Shongwe say the World Health Organization don't agree for support Salone with 6.6 metric tons of medicine supply and expert doctor them for give treatment to the November 5, 2021 fire disaster victim them. Dr. Shongwe talked this with the World Health Organization and go receive, and the Minister of Health and Sanitation go receive 1 metric ton of emergency medical supply for treat the fire victims them na different hospital them. I've been there na the Lunge Airport Sunday, November 7 this year. We say then consignments have been landed and I put these reports together. Sunday, November 7, 2021, they na the Lunge Airport. We say the Minister of Health and Sanitation and then partner them can receive support from the World Health Organization when at the first consignment of 6.6 metric tons of medical supply, where the World Health Organization they give to Salone, where according to this support, where the World Health Organization they give support in response to the incident we happened on Friday at the Eastern Partner Freetown, who said one tanker been explode and kill plenty people, and as plenty in our hospital now, the World Health Organization come in for support. Well, I first talked to Stephen Vilabom Shongwe, when at the WHO country rep, will tell me waiting at the support where they don't give to Salone and waiting more they install.
We are receiving 1 ton, metric ton of medical supplies. In total, we're expecting 6.6 metric tons, which include drugs, antibiotics, drugs for pain relief, disinfectants, injections, dressings for burns, sterilizers, autoclave, basic anesthesia, gloves, and body bags.
How essential are these supports to aid in the approach of the governments in ensuring that they come to the aid of those that are affected already?
Yes, these are extremely important in caring for people with severe injuries, especially burns. So they will be used by the doctors and the nurses in caring for the patients who are severely ill. But we're working with other partners, already some of them are in country and they are providing support. And we will be looking at additional support based on the needs. We are expecting the medical specialists to come and support our colleagues who are already here in Salone in caring for the patients who are severely injured, maybe with burns and other injuries. Initially, we're looking at 6 to 8 specialists, but more technical experts and specialists will be arriving in due course. This is just the first team that will be coming.
How soon are we expecting them?
In the coming few days, if possible, some of them maybe tomorrow.
How many specialists?
Exact number I cannot say at the moment, but we are expecting initially 6 to 8, but more people might come in future.
Well, from the WHO country rep, Dr. Vilabum Shongwe, I come to the Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Austin Dembi, for explain to Salone people as to what this support mean for the country at this moment.
So again, just the one example was that glucose fluid. The normal average person, you need about 2,000 calories of energy for move around, yeah? So when then people that will get burns, usually they require a lot more calorie because the body, they work extra hard. So that glucose fluid where you see, so now something will go help the patient them, it will help for get their energy back up in a really dramatic way. So we get a broad range of products from analgesics, painkiller them, all the way to antibiotics will stop any secondary bacterial infection.
Governments, they wait for the 5 metric tons we don't left as now 1 metric tons out of the 6.6 we already for CAM. And also the WHO country rep promise say experts them for expect for CAM for support the medical system na Salone. As Salone they wait for them support, how you can describe the health system for handle emergencies like waiting happen on Friday?
Well, we learned a lot of lessons from this. The health system, a very robust system, and we get difficulty, we get challenges. As I say, nobody they prepare for 100 casualty event like we'll see. So normally we prepare for 10, 15 kind. So it quickly overwhelmed the system. But we medical staff, then they all step up and get reinforcement, and from upline, we all can join and party then also. People that we've been there on leave, then dropped and leave and come. Nurses that we've been there other side and left what they do for camp for car help. So again, overall, the response been very solid.
You talk about 30% born 3 weeks intensive care, you're talking about 90% born. And when the Vice President been give the first number of the death toll, talk say the situation very worrisome at the hospital. As it is now, what's the hope of survival of the one them within our hospital?
The situation is very, very worrisome. Dr. Kabad this afternoon been very, very pleased. Dr. Kabana, the medical superintendent at Connaught Hospital, always say all through the night, all of them severely ill patients, and they're able to do well through the night and survive. So now they give you hope, But at the same time, we get for intensify our effort. We get for make sure so we get the suppliers so available to people and right away. In emergency like this one, so you get 2 kinds of levels of support. Number 1, now the quality of the support we get, we don't see so right now. Number 2, now the timing of the support we get. So right now the timing really important because the most intense work they happen within the first 72 hours.
That's now the Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Austin Dembi, when they talk to me inside that interview day, as in the delegation for can receive the 1 ton of medical supply with the World Health Organization don't give to Salone. As according to the WHO country rep, Dr. Vilabum Shongwe, the World Health Organization don't commit for give Salone 6.6 metric tons of medical supply, and also within them they expect experts them from the World Health Organization for can boost the medical system for ensure that the people within in intensive care and people who are severely born, they're able to rescue them and save their life. From the Lunge International Airport for the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa Kamara.
The program Good Morning Salone, they continue. We come to the other studio guests as the Disaster Management Agency Director General Bedo left the studio. We come to the other studio guests now from Fire Force, when Abdullahi Gassama Bokari, and at the head of fire prevention na the National Fire Force. Well, we don't listen to waiting the DG from the National Disaster Management Agency be done so, but from Fire Force, part of our work also now for things that we get to deal with prevention through sensitization where una can do, but also una get expertise them. We can for advise people as to how to respond if incidents happen before una they reach the National Fire Force. Where sometimes time like this way na fire happen for let una hot the fire. But before we can talk about the response where una been give on Friday where the incidents happen at Wellington, Just share with listeners them from the experts we wanna get, from the sabi we wanna get prevention issues of then kind disaster. Yeah. Anyway, there with Salone for the able for prevent this incident will be happen on Friday.
Yeah, thank you very much. Way we put in place how for manage that kind of situation. A situation like that where it be happen, one, the need for call the National Fire Force, the police for barricade that particular place. Because when this thing occur, most time, the source of the petrol now from the tanker. So waiting they get for two, then they barricade the place. And then from there, we get a target. The target now human beings and outside the human beings and they live. So waiting they do, therefore evacuate people out of that particular place, push them far away from that point. Thereby, we go able for the neutralize that particular product.
Now, that thing get that responsibility they from where owner self can get coordination and engagement with institutions that are responsible for prevent then kind of thing from happening. What I want to be expected for them barricade, push people in afar, and get the place settled before now they reach there.
The police they supposed for respond quickly at that point. They try for barricade, call we all work together, and then with other disaster management agencies.
So looking at the old situations as we get from the DG, then you're finding, according to them, the issues we don't take like 30 to 45 minutes where the tanker they waste. You think say that time enough for do all entire where they talk about for prevent within happen?
Yeah. According to like what DG say, the time when the incident occur, we say from the National Fire Force will only get when the fire occur. But I believe say if then be, barricade that particular place, I think this thing for don't escalate to that particular which is at this point where we get over 100 people then we then die.
So in terms of response, now when the National Fire Force reach the scene?
We get a call by 9:30 because me be the incident commander at that night. I get a call from 9:30. From there, we left. But before we reach there, the National Fire Force fire station where Edina Roke, if we don't already reach there. Then the Kisi, we don't reach there because maybe they're headquarters on Circular Road. Then we said get for reach there about 9:49. Because I get a call from 9:30. 9:49 will be there with 3 fire engines, 2 fire engines, and then the other one now a rescue fire motor car.
So if you forget assessment of waiting on a meet, waiting have been the situation the same way fire force reach at the scene.
Oh, we meet the fire down seriously, and we get for use we own expertise how we can fight the fire. One, we get for use the foam where we don't already put, because whenever they call for petrol fire, when our class B type of fire, before we reach there, we can don't turn with foam chemical inside the water for let it mix. Immediately we'll reach, we start with operation.
So waiting at the distance of our closest station to side the incident happen. What's at the distance?
The closest station where it did near the Kisi. Kisi respond quickly, they reach there quick, about a mile, 1 mile from to that particular point.
So now we look at, you rightly mentioned about una work and also una intervention in issues like this. How you can describe fire force capacity for handle fire outbreak like this one?
Oh well, if fire force get the capacity for respond to this kind of fire, because we don't do various causes there, and then we don't look at example at different parts of the world where this kind of fire they occur, how then they respond to one. Fire force get the capacity because we get the fire engines, we get the chemical, for fight that particular fire. I make at least we're able to put the fire under control with the help of we own brothers and we they come up from the Port Authority.
We earlier asked about the level of coordinations in fighting disasters like fire And Yusuf say by the thing the way this incident happen, if we have been arrived there, we have for done like put sand for ensure say the fire not able to travel go far. What are the level of collaborations between fire force and also the police way for this case now then for they na the traffic points and ensure say communicates to una as partners?
Oh, we dey work with the police very well. The only thing we will be the expert for me then do will be the expert say then go able for barricade that particular place before ever the national fire force the reach it. Because as we before don't reach there, we for don't able for control the petrol if they go right down, at least we put sand there so that it not go able for run down to any other community where it will go catch fire and counter back.
All right, let's continue further with the studio head of fire prevention, now the National Fire Force, Abdullahi Gassama Bokari. The program Good Morning Salone, they continue. We still they continue with issues we get for do with the disaster will be happen on Friday in Wellington. And as I've been saying earlier, we extend condolences to family members, them love we lost and loved ones them. And other people we unfortunately been get for the parts of this kind of scene because we make for understand say some man be don't off just come and walk. Not to people's way sometimes stay in the community, be they go about their own business, caught up in traffic, and unfortunately this kind of incident happened to them. We want to say Osh to all on behalf of management and staff of Freedom Democracy. Let me listen to a short music break and continue with more issues in the program.
Have mercy upon us, Father. Have mercy.
So much trouble in the world today. So much trouble. We need your mercy. Father, your way is the only way. We need your grace.
There's no way we can make it without you, Father. There's no way.
We need your mercy. So much hatred in the world today. We need your mercy. So much pain in the world today. We need your grace. If there's a man to pray, there's a God to answer. God is able. If there's a man to pray, there's a God to answer. God is able. We need your Lord right now more than ever. The world is in need of more love. You know the truth and your love will last forever. The world is in need of love. We need your love right now more than ever. The world is in need of more love. You know the truth and your love will last forever. The world is in need of love.
I come before you, Father, asking for your mercy, asking for your favor, asking for your grace, asking for your blessings. We honor you, Father. Check it out. Glorify and magnify your holy name. With so much drama in the world, we can't afford to hate. All we need is love, love. With so much trauma in the world, we for pray, keep the faith, and depend on God in word, God in word. We for always seeking face, and we for always singing praise,
Yes, indeed. Plenty thank you to Jimmy Bangura, Jimmy B, for that song inside the program. We dedicate this one to all the fire victims them of November 5, 2021 at the Wellington community. And at this moment, Radio Democracy, they observe 1 minute of silence for all the one them within the buried today and also the people within our hospital. That we don't die, like God give them good road, and that we in our hospital, like God give them medicine. 1 minute silence from Radio Democracy.
All right. Well, we dedicate that 1 minute silence there to all the one them we don't lost as a nation, and as in the bury some of them today, we pray that, well, God go forgive them sins and shortcomings. Allah go forgive them and accept them as He received them. Well, the program Good Morning Salone they continue.
The program is still listening to a Good Morning Salone with the country from 98.1 FM. Still inside the fire incident, we continue to look at more issues, and we see the President, Dr. Retired Brigadier Julius Madabiu, being addressed the nation yesterday, which I declare mourning. Well, we go now to the one and get the speech of the President, which he addressed the nation regarding the fire incident.
Fellow citizens, last night I returned to a nation in mourning. I went directly to visit the injured and the badly burned at Connaught and 34 military hospitals. This morning, I also visited other victims at the emergency and children's hospitals and the site of the accident. I saw our brothers and sisters who are in extreme pain. They shared with me their anguish, and I reassured them of my government's commitment to continue supporting them during these difficult times. This national tragedy is heart-rending. Let us reserve a moment of reflection for the 99 brothers and sisters we have lost so far. May God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shower them with His divine mercies. May He comfort grieving families and loved ones and heal the injured. May God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, strengthen us to endure the pain of this catastrophe. We are all indeed deeply saddened as a nation. On behalf of all citizens of our beloved nation, I thank our healthcare workers who have worked tirelessly around the clock to care for the injured. We thank you for your selfless service to our fellow citizens of this great nation. Let me also thank the Honorable Vice President, Cabinet Ministers, the National Disaster Management Agency, the security forces, first responders, community leaders, and every citizen who has worked tirelessly to provide an effective and coordinated response to this tragedy. I thank Sierra Leoneans at home and abroad for your comforting messages and solidarity during these challenging times. This catastrophe has touched everyone. Your prayers and words of consolation are truly invaluable. I also thank foreign leaders and well-wishers who have condoled with us. Especially, I thank the World Health Organization that is airlifting 6.6 tons of emergency medical supplies as their initial response to the severe burn cases. Moments like this bring us closer as a nation. just as they have in the past. We will endure, pull through, and persist as a nation. In solemn tribute to the faithful departed, I now declare 3 days of national mourning, commencing Monday 8th to Wednesday 10th November 2021 throughout the Republic of Sierra Leone. Flags shall be flown at half-mast. Prayers shall be said for the deceased and the injured throughout Sierra Leone on Friday 12th November and Sunday 14th November, respectively. The Ministry of Health and Sanitation will scale up responses and provide the best medical and psychosocial care for victims and their families. A group of foreign medical specialists will soon join our hardworking medical staff to intensify treatment for the injured. The Incident Coordinating Center will continue its verification and identification exercises, at the same time effectively coordinating all responses to this disaster. Following the identification and verification exercises, we engage family members to plan and ensure a dignified burial for the deceased. In the coming days, I will set up a presidential task force that will comprehensively look into the incident and present its findings and recommendations to inform future actions. The demonstration of solidarity and selflessness by medical personnel and other first responders to this disaster shows our resolve to work together as a nation. Wherever you are today, say a quiet prayer for our brothers and sisters. We will weep, we will work hard to heal the injured, and we shall overcome. I thank you and God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone.
The program Good Morning Salone, they continue. That's now been the speech yesterday where the president be make after the incidents will be happen on Friday and talk about waiting government's plan for do as this fire incidents be happen. Part of the thing where the president talk about it declare a 3 days national mourning from today to Wednesday coming, and also it talk and make mention of the committee we say then go get a presidential task force for looking to waiting happen exactly so that then we're able for prevent then kind of thing later. But only unfortunate that we can get then kind of statement here where the incident then can don't happen. So at this time we ask that as trade democracy institutions then we're responsible for prevent then kind of issues, then they will hear earlier waiting Mr. Bokari from Fire Force be they make mention of for say people for we don't take up responsibility for dispatch people may be gathered at that particular scene before the explosion happened. So institutions like the police, we expect say go step up on a game, and then kind of incidents here we're able to prevent them so that we're not going to lose souls them then kind of way, then the way we go able to prevent them, we not do what we supposed to do, and we hope say authorities them after the different investigations and go able to take action and hold people them responsible for the kind of incidents here we happen. Usai we lost over 90 people and people they were still badly burned, and then our hospital we go follow up that issue for ensure say at this time as a nation we really take up people them take up responsibility and know waiting for do when times of emergency can happen.
The program we still get Abdullahi Gassama Bokari, head of fire prevention. unit na the National Fire Force. They are for talk about the incident we be on Friday na the eastern part na Freetown. We did talk about one incident now, and just inside the last budget discussion, I talked to the boss na National Fire Force. It predicts more fires this year, and fire we don't record this year a plenty even than 2020. Going into the dry and the festive season, how prepared the National Fire Force day for ensure say people then safe in terms of fire outbreak?
Thank you very much. The National Fire Force were prepared. The unit we me the head when at the fire prevention unit. We they go out for sensitize people for how for use fire na you host. Most of the time we they go to the communities especially how to reach communities when they don't get access route in case of fire go occur. How for go there? The only way we'll be able for save that kind of people then would they do fire prevention sensitization. As at Sidoya this morning, my team already they out. Every day we they go out for sensitize people then. In fact, if you look around Freetown, you can hear people and say, if I force and Kaya, they can't see they can't see report, they do this, would they do this every day, and then would they do trainings for how for handle that kind of fire where it occur back like yesterday, where it occur on Friday. We get so many trainings and what we don't do with an organization when a CBRN, when a chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear program, when a EU they support that particular program. That particular program don't put equipment in place, like for instance, how for handle that kind of fire incidents. The equipment already there now. Wataki now, would they try for Brianka now National Fire Force, and they don't make a link back for at least for work with the Morocco team. We are in the able for train fire force in terms of this particular incident we occurred yesterday. There is a project also going on under this CBRN where they call a transport of dangerous goods, and this particular transport of dangerous goods will be done do training. Where we call them tanker drivers, we train them how to manage that kind of situation. Now, in Meko, the incident occur, the driver can't do, and they advise people and say, no, una common una don't know how dangerous this thing be. So we don't do several things prevention, sensitization all over the country, trainings and other things with communities as well as companies within they deal with fear business.
So apart from the communities and communism within they deal with fuel, whose approach Fire Force plan for take, especially in terms of coordination and communication with lined in institutions and agencies that were responsible for respond to the kind of incidents in terms of preventing the incidents from happening in the first place. Whose approach and I want for take for tackle that, because if we're able to prevent them, we're not going to a situation who say one life self go lost.
Yeah. Before this time, we done come together with the National Disaster Management Agency, the Freetown City Council. We be done plan for do a massive sensitization before they go into the festive occasion, and that sensitization they go on very soon. Very soon, plans are done on the way now for let we able for start that particular sensitization, because the only way we'll go able for help people then when we sensitize so that people are going able for prevent fire, not for kind of their homes and even at their workplaces. So that particular planning they on now, very soon we will start that massive fire prevention sensitization, not only Freetown but all over Sierra Leone.
So as a community, for example, if then kind of situation here they happen, because we seen out in the poll videos of Siway, kerosene be don't spill, palm oil spill, people they go out for get them. If then kind of situation they happen at any community, people they listen to you now, waiting there for first to.
One, as then get them kind thing there, we get a free toll line we they for call we they inform we. If they inform we earlier, we can able for go there, barricade the place so that nobody no go get access to the product where they come out from the tanker. If they do that, then we go able for save Sierra Leone. But if it happen, they not call we, they begin for thief the product, that go come with another disaster. But with the hope and pray say that not go happen again, would they put a mechanism in place where it not go happen again?
What's not the mechanism we go make it not happen again?
Where would they make sure say the free toll line get for go far up, all over the country. We get free toll line from 300 up to 315. Any of the one that way you call, you be able to get the National Fire Force. And we don't join with National Disaster Management Agency. They say get phones that we then give out to we, where at least in case of any disaster like that occur, on a need for call promptly so that we'll be able to go the National Fire Force.
When you look at the distribution of our offices, them how centralized are they for deal with fire outbreak? Now different part them na Salone.
Okay, for like Freetown, we get now 4 fire stations and 1 training school. For Bo, we get 1. McKinney, we get 1. Kenema, we get 1. We did Pujel, where they don't already done, but we not open yet. Kailan, we don't open, we get fire station there. We get fire station at Moyamba. We get Cambia, they don't already done. The fire station at Kabbalah will not open yet. And then government don't approve for build another 3 fire station, Wena, Putloko, Tonkolili, and then Bont District.
So with all then one wanna get at the moment as one they expect more, especially for the city we congested. When I think say this enough now.
Well, still enough plan day on the way for build back na other locations in the city, like the Lumley area, going down to the peninsula. We get plan for do that. By let's say Wilberforce, we get plan for put another fire station in there. And so many places within Freetown.
Within Freetown, how would they do now for handle fire na side them like the Ely communities them and also side them like Don then Kulbe or Susan's Bay situations?
Yeah, like for Susan's Bay, when this fire be occur, there's a plan now for at least make an access road where in case of fire we can able for reach it. For the mountain area, Usai will motoka in the reach it. The best way would they do fire prevention sensitization for let it not be. Would they prevent her for let it not be at all?
Looking at we public office system, how safe then they like places like you building who say hundreds of people together and other public places in terms of fire outbreak?
Yeah, for we public buildings, we don't do inspections. We don't give recommendations, and most of them they adhere to the inspection report or they give them the recommendations. As for you building, we don't already done the inspection report would be done submitted to the Ministry of Works. The Ministry of Works said we don't find an expert way, at least it go able for provide that particular equipments and way na fire gadgets and way it can where the National Fire Force go able for go install on the various offices in a new building. But so far, so good. The institutions that they adhere to the fire safety measures.
So as they gradually approach them where they are tanking sidom and then dry them and they will know and then sending the incidents of fire can happen easily. Waiting on a don't put in place as response based on when I want for like community then be alert. Waiting fire force to do towards that.
Yeah, as we move into the festive occasion, waiting for our force don't do, we don't intensify with sensitization, especially in the mountain areas, even disaster-prone areas. We they go out and sensitize people how they for use fire, because most of the time during the hammer time, waiting the cause fire. Now where people can cook at times and leave the cold pot so open one when breeze they blow. Just to take the fire, crank go other side. So for let that not be, we get a team now who they do fire prevention sensitization. Together with even the city council, we they work with them for do fire sensitization. We be done do training also for sensitize people and when they live now the disaster prone areas. We'll be able to forget so many communities where they be part of that training.
All right, so as to the wrap up the program now, waiting you say again at the hotline where people for call in case thing like waiting may happen on Friday, they happen in any community or anything when a threat to people in life they happen. What's the number of call?
Before I dey go to the hotline, I want for come with this message for everybody now you home. Some of the things that when they cause the fires in our homes, I they try for tell una for let una not do them. One, let them not overload circuits. Most of the fires they get now people when they overload their extensions. Somebody they go buy extension, that extension get a capacity way for whole. In one grade one put that extension, a one put plasma, they put television, put DVD, put DSTV, put freezer. You know, at the end of the day, you overload that extension, and that they cause fire. Another thing where people are not for do because the various fires they all don't get in free time. Some of the causes, people and they overload the meters. And this helps back for take, a measure wearing, therefore put thing in place. Therefore make sure say they not overload the meter. The fire occur wearing people then get 26 people and they use 1 grade meter. Yes. So the toll line I go give now for Sakila Road now 300.
9 network.
QCell and AfriCell. You call that number, you they get we.
Why not all the network?
For all now, then no more be don't give we a toll line. Then for Kisi, now 301. For Aberdeen, now 302. For Rokel, with your new station where we don't open last week, now 309.
No, not get for Orange Line.
With Orange Line, we not get any line for Orange Line for now. Then if you go Bo, now 303. Kenema, now 308. And then McKinney, now 304. Then Moyamba, now 305. Cambia, 306. And then Pujen, Kailan, 310. So now then numbers that we get for now.
How effective the number then has to be?
Any hour we call this number, possible answer you. If even you debo fire occur somewhere, na free time wait, so they're not able to call you this number. They're not able to get anybody. You call 300, we'll be able to respond.
That not for the circular road and the other one them. Is it
enough.
throughout the day and night?
Throughout the day and night, this phone you are charged. You call, you must get way.
All right, so let me just get a try for the 300 line and see if we'll get a response. All right, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Fire Force Emergency.
Yeah, how can I help you?
All right, thank you very much. This is Mabel, Radio Democracy. We've been just a try forget a try of on an emergency line. Thank you.
You call 301, post the answer. 2.
All right, well, many thanks. We just be one for prove how effective the toll-free lines in there. We just get a response from them. We should see, for example, the 300 we just called from an AfriCell line. We will forget a response. Thank you for joining at the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
That's Abdullahi Gassama Bokari, the head of fire prevention na the National Fire Force. Been there na the studio, they tell we but the incidents will happen on Friday and measures we then they put in place so that Salone will get then kind of sad strategy tinia will happen so on Friday. Once more, we want to say osh to the one them we lost them people them na this particular unfortunate incident and as in the buried them today when I hear from the president, he say a national 3 days mourning they happen at the country. So we hope and pray say we all as a nation go come together and pray for them people here. Especially the one that within our hospitals now, so that they're able to respond to treatment and we make for understand against it some people need blood. I believe said people within a different community go reach out to hospitals for give them your assistance with them go able for give so that then people are going to recover. Now this edition of the program go left for now plenty. Thank you to the production team. Michael Sambola and Alex Stone and Scroma produced the program. DJ Lava gave technical support. Moses Kavra make una see on our Facebook. So till we meet again, join us at 12 for lunch as we celebrate Asma James and Usman Kamara.
And
goodbye.
Musa Kamara they say bye-bye.